And we are back on a Saturday, and this is professional, not professional, because we are bros, not pros. That is JPL Curry, Jonathan A. Cohen, manager of at Mason Rush 33, Hamilton Pro Wrestling, future superstar champion. And go check out him on his Instagram account at Mason Rush 33 and Hamilton Pro Wrestling. When JP and I are not taping, I'm in the studio with Mace and JP, man. The internet is loving you guys. We put diversity content. We never know week to week what we're going to talk about. And
Sure.
that's the world of wrestling, man. It is always something to cover.
Yeah, and there's so much to talk about. Thank goodness for both big brands and all the others out there. It's creating lots of opportunity and lots of things to talk about.
So, do you remember Baron Corbin when he was in his near the heyday of WWE before he had to go back down to NXT and before he hooked up with Mr. Bradshaw? Do you remember he had a sidekick?
Who was his sidekick?
Well, it was bugging me last week in my head because I was thinking in my mind, who's the WWE equivalent of Wardlow? Because they should be a tag team together, even more than him with Powerhouse Hobbs. Do you remember Riddick Moss?
Oh, jeez.
It- you know what? Have you ever seen him in the same room together with Wardlow? I'm still convinced it's the same guy.
Yeah, you know what? It could work out. You never know. You never
Well,
know with that one.
I know Riddick Moss is looking for a job right now, so he may want to go over to AEW and maybe help out Wardlow. I think that they would
Yeah.
power
Give
bomb
Tony a
people.
call.
They power bomb people all day long. So I warned you last week that right now Adam Cole does not have to worry about Wardlow winning the belt and forfeiting it over to him because that ain't gonna happen. So now that Jay White is kind of a neutral after Juice Robinson got injured, to me, it was very, very clear. And Samoa Joe came out in his suit, and everybody's like, Joe, Joe, Joe. And he was celebrating his championship. Who was the first guy to come out and say hello to him? Do you remember?
Swerve.
Swerve, Swerve, Swerve. Absolutely was Swerve because Swerve right now is driving the bus. Swerve is AEW. You look on social media, you look across media platforms, you can't go anywhere without seeing Swerve, without seeing the dance, right? And there's the Swerve dancers. He has now his dance quartet, and they have their own Instagram account. And Swerve, that song, it is blowing up. He has a remix of it. Swerve is walking out, talking, doing everything I want to see out of a champion, and I am ready to crown him the next AW champion officially. Samoa Joe is the perfect transitional champion. Hangman Page, get off my TV screen, stop this ridiculousness, and let's give the championship to Swerve. It's time.
Yeah, I think Swerve's really made a clear case for being a champion there. He's shown that he can work hard, but I do have to say his matches with Hangman have helped him get to that level. So Hangman's played, I think, a pretty uh, big role in helping that, in putting on really, really memorable matches. Like their last two were just nuts, right? So I think they're gonna continue building off of that because it's showcasing Swerve really well and catapult him right into Samoa Joe. Um, Now I am a fan of Samoa Joe. I gotta be clear. I like him as a champion.
I like him
I
too.
like him. I like him as a leader. I think he is the right guy right now to be holding that title in AEW.
No dispute there. I think Samoa Joe has paid his dues. I think he's done everything the company asked him to do. He's a great talker. He's a great wrestler. I think he's well liked. No doubt about it. But he ain't breaking any records as far as championship runs go. He is time limited. It's going to be 3 to 6 months
Agreed.
max. Max. I think this is kind of where they're getting the participation ribbon where they're saying, Joe, you put in your time and everything. Now you get a chance to hold the belt for a while, the way AW used to do that. Everybody. Today you're the champ. Tomorrow you'll be the champ. So he's gonna hold it for a while. He's earned that right. He has respect in the locker room. And on the same token of it, it didn't make sense to have MJF drop it to Swerve. Let Swerve build up for a
Yeah.
while some more. Let's clean up the story. It all worked well with Samoa Joe, and he was helping, not helping. It works beautifully. I get it. And Joe still saves face, still popular with the fans, so we can have him face a heel or a face. I'm good with that. That's no problem there. But I'm just really worried we're gonna have a triple threat match, and that Hangman and Swerve are gonna kill each other, and Joe's gonna walk away with it, and that's probably where it's gonna go for a while. But Joe's not gonna be able to run from Swerve forever. Just the formula is working right now. Do not remove Prince Nana. Do not remove the
Yeah.
dancing. Don't change anything of it. Just let's keep building the way it is. I'm really afraid that they're going to take Nana out of the equation and say Swerve should be completely on his own. No, they work well together.
No.
I don't need to see Brian Cage there with him. Bring them out once in a while, just show there is a faction. But when Swerve comes out and he wrestles on his own, he's on his own with Nana. Nana can stay off to the side. Swerve wins cleanly, and the Swerve era begins in AW. This is where it's got to go. If in 2024 Swerve Strickland does not win the AW championship, this is a travesty of justice, and I may not watch AW in 2025.
I I can fully see that, man. I can see him getting there. I can see definitely a title match in his future. And I can see him being the one right now to challenge for it. When I think of the current roster and who's gunning for top spot, Swerve is up there. I don't see anyone in his league right now to, knock him off that pedestal. Uh, there's
And a shocking thing and I don't ever play the race card, but he'll be the first African American heavyweight champion in AW, and that's shocking to me. You think of all the greats that they've had in AW all this time, and he's going to be the first. I think that's going to be a landmark victory, and to me, he's going to be their Hulk Hogan. Like Swerve could literally carry this belt now for 4 years, and I would have no problem with it. I think when Swerve gets the belt, I think he should break, barring injury. I think they should carry him as a champion for a while. When Hangman was a champion with or without the crowd during COVID, I never felt him
yeah,
strongly. Moxley is good, Jericho's good, but they're all past their prime already. Like they're still good, but they're not prime guys. Swerve is the right age, the right everything for this, and I think he's earned it. And it's not like a guy who's a flash in the pan. He's done it through the indies. He's wrestled his whole life. Um, Jay White was the only other guy I was stuck on, but now Will Ospreay's coming as well. And so to me, Jay White, Will Ospreay, they will have their chances at different points. We can do other things with these guys at the moment. The fact that Swerve came out as the first guy, I just had a sense of relief. I felt so good because I'm like, Tony Khan's understanding me. Like we get each other here.
yeah. You're on his speed dial. You know what though? Honestly, I that is a match that I look forward to very much. I like that they're gonna make it more of a fighting belt right now. I think that's what they need too, is a visible champion. MJF carried that belt really well. I like how he elevated it. He was able to stay in the main picture even when competing with other superstars at that time, who had come in, and there was a lot of controversy and everything happening. He was able to stay very relevant, stay as the number one topic. Um, and you know what? I don't want Joe to have a short run. I'd like him to have it for at least 6 months, in my opinion. I would at least enjoy that because I think he still goes. We know that his years are numbered as a professional wrestler. I'd like to see him hang on to it for a bit and really enjoy it, and then later on in the year, get that opportunity for Swerve and just keep building and grinding towards it.
I would love for that to happen for you, but I'm going to tell you why it's not going to happen. It's a very
All
simple
right, let's
reason
do
why.
it.
WrestleMania 40 is around the corner. AW is going to
Hmm.
have to upstage them a little bit. The way to upstage them, they have the biggest star in wrestling going right now. He's bigger than Roman Reigns. He's bigger than Cody Rhodes. Because if you look at the actual, as far as wrestling versus non-wrestling crowd, because he's got a hit song and people love the dance and they're doing dances on Instagram and sharing the dance, and uh Swerve's got it all right now. He's hitting every single mark. Having him win the belt right around WrestleMania time will take a lot of attention in the wrestling world towards AEW and away from WWE. That's how you got to do it. Because, you know, to me, you have Cody Rhodes finishing the story and winning the belt off of Roman versus Swerve getting the championship. I'm way more interested in Swerve. The only way I'm not interested, I think WWE literally have to put The Rock against Roman. That's the only way we're all gonna
Oh yeah.
forget. You put Rock versus Roman, and then we're not paying attention to AEW. But you put another Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns versus Swerve Strickland winning the championship. I'd rather watch Swerve Strickland every day of the week.
Yeah, I agree. I almost forgot about this story with Cody. So I'm
We
ready for
all
that. And
trying. We all been trying to forget
yeah,
about it.
so it's like, you know what? When I saw The Rock come on screen January 1st, I was I was actually a little worried for AEW, to be honest. Because right now WWE has so much firepower and star power, it's insane. But thankfully, their wrestling hasn't been top notch that it's made me want to tune in exclusively for the action, right? Their promos, everything they've been doing right. It's just they're getting really stuck with the in-ring competition and the layout of matches, and the commentary is just so slow, right? So this, you know, AEW still has fighters' chance in this to come back from a bit of a setback that they've had the last few months with injuries, with talent leaving, a lot of controversy out there. So it's nice to see this opportunity, and I agree with you. Maybe Swerve's the guy to do it. Maybe he's the guy to carry the mantle for them for a bit.
If I want to watch wrestling in the TNA heyday and WCW type of
Hmm.
feel, I'm turning on AEW. This is the real McCoy to me.
Oh
WWE,
yeah,
the way AEW still has the picture in picture going. While in WWE, if you've ever been to a live event and the commercial break goes, they're going and taking a smoke break, they're doing whatever in between, and then they come back on. It feels more like, I hate to say fake, but it feels more like sports entertainment, whereas AW is actually wrestling. I mean, I want to watch Jay White versus Swerve Strickland again. I loved their first match. I want to see them again.
hmm.
I cannot wait to see one day Will Ospreay versus Jay White, Will
Oh yeah,
Ospreay in the future versus Swerve Strickland. There's so many pieces you can work with, like Andrade going back to
oh yeah,
WWE. I'm okay with that because first of all, his wife's over there. He's run his course, and we got a lot of people in AW, and he's not that vital in there. He was good. He's a good guy to
yeah.
watch, but I can watch just
He's
as many
great.
other guys. Yeah.
Yeah, he's great in the ring. I've had the chance to see him live quite a few times. He's great in the ring, but again, it just wasn't his scene. I, I don't think it was the right fit for him. And yeah, WWE, it's exactly probably what he needs right now, where it's steady paycheck, go in, do your thing. You're told what to do, what to say. Go in, do your thing, and go. Um, AEW has a ton of talent coming through, a lot that hasn't even come close to their ceiling, a lot of guys that I still want to see. The Don Callis family, they have a lot of stars that aren't even, 30, 40% of their potential right now. Right. So lots of people in AEW I want to see come through the ranks, rise through the ranks, and Swerve definitely being number one on that list.
And that's where again, if I'm Sammy Guevara, I'm crying to like was part of the Don Callis family. I'm out of there because all those guys, including the guy who was in the Australian tag team, like his name is escaping me right
The
now, but
Aussie Open, yeah, yeah.
Aussie Open guy. But like these are all guys. They're purposely taking all these young guys that haven't hit their ceilings yet, and Don Callis is the perfect manager for them, and I'm just loving it. A guy I hate to say, that is kind of boring me on TV day in day out when I see him there. I don't get the Hangman Page thing. It's just I'm
I
not.
don't either.
I don't get it.
I
I don't get it. Sorry, Hangman, but it's like
Yeah,
you just don't really have that pizzazz, and I just you're taking away from other people at this point. And I think the problem is I don't like him as a trying to build up as a top card guy. I think he needs a cowboy type partner, and then they can be the Cowboys, and then they can go fight for Ring of Honor tag team championships. That's where he should be at. I just don't. He's not that upper echelon guy, and he's just never going to get there again. And
Yeah.
he, with or without COVID, he failed them as a champion. He was just a very lackluster champion. He got his run, it didn't
Yeah,
work, and I think he's never getting that chance again. Unfortunately, I think he's got to pull a Drew McIntyre and get out, kind of reinvent himself, and come back stronger because I think his barrel run dry.
yeah, I agree on that. Uh he wasn't their strongest champion. I don't think he carried the belt well for them in that time. I remember being in the arena and when they were doing their Toronto show, and it was Moxley and Hangman in the ring and MJF just sitting up in the towers,
I
and
remember
the
that one.
crowd was
I was
going
there.
nuts. You were there too,
I
right?
was there.
So I just remember the crowd, and when you're champion, to have that kind of reaction for somebody who doesn't have a mic, for somebody who is not, in feet of you or anything like that, and have all the attention drawn that way, that speaks volumes to how the crowd is viewing you as their champ or their contender.
It
Right?
would
Right now, you see Swerve come out as soon as it goes whose house, and he gets that massive ovation, right? The crowd's rallying behind this guy, and they want to see that gold around his waist.
Another guy they want to see gold around his waist, and I'm telling you, it's going to happen. It's just a question of when, how, where, is Daniel Garcia. And I think they're going to right the wrong. And ultimately, he's been getting pops. He's doing well. I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
disagree with the critics out there and him being his own man. I still think he needs that faction to pull him stronger. He was supposed to be in BCC originally instead of Wheeler Yuta.
Yes.
Wheeler Yuta's grown on me. I think he's strong on the mic. He's good as a sidekick. I think Daniel Garcia's got to get into BCC. I think that they
Yeah.
have to make it that Claudio and Brian Danielson take him under their wing. They can do vignettes week in, week out, and showing him in the dojo and battling hard, and they're going to toughen him up. And Daniel Garcia is one of your future champions, and I see good things happening for him. I think he had to get away from JAS immediately. They're not going to put him in
Yeah.
best friends. I think that they need to make him a serious wrestler and not an amateur. And I think BCC is in Daniel Garcia's future, but he's another guy. As soon as he comes out, I just he needs to do that dance a little more. Like I miss the dance. We need to compromise
Yeah,
here.
you know what? And I've really been happy to see how they've been utilizing him, especially so far this year. This year he's really coming out of his shell. He's showing up, he's coming to the rescue of other wrestlers. He's being more relevant instead of just being quiet or just one of Jericho's henchmen type of thing. So I'm happy to see him get this break. And unfortunately, with all these injuries that they've had in AEW, it is working out to create some opportunities for a lot of the younger guys there. So fingers crossed he gets his.
I mean, you look at Cool Hand Ange and his angle with Ruby Soho and Harley Cameron and Soraya, and I think Daniel Garcia is very thrilled to get the heck out of there. Anna
Yeah.
Jay, same thing. I think anything the JS right now touches turned into crap. Um, all those guys in there, you need to break away as soon as possible. And Garcia is the first one, and I've already forgotten about him in JS. That's how well he's doing. So a lot of things to be excited about in 2024.
Yep.
So for those of you that don't get Rampage and Collision wherever you're at, if you're able to, it costs you like $6 or $9 a month, and you're able to watch it, I'm telling you, you're missing some good wrestling, and I'm really excited. But 2024, as we wrap up today's episode, will be the year of Swerve Strickland, and we're gonna be very excited to coordinate him as the new champion king. And JP thinks it's happening in the next 6 months. I'm telling you, it's happening in the next three. We'll see what happens.
Look forward to it, buddy.
This has been Professional Wrestling, the podcast. Thank you for your insights and wisdom, always, JP. And letting the fans know, hit that subscribe button, notification bell on our episodes. Send us your comments. You think we're right? You think we're geniuses? You think we're mad? We'd love to hear from you. And if you don't like what we have to say, don't just say, hey, you're dumb. Tell us why and tell us what your reasoning is so we can respond back to you as well.